Hi! Okay, the lighting was supposed to be good here because, like, I am literally in front of the window, but it's not, so. Great. Hi, everyone who probably, no, a lot of the people that are on this video do not care. Hi! It has been a very long minute since I asked whether people were interested in a fountain pen video, and a lot of people said yes, but then I just like poof, MIA, just went off the grid because a lot of stuff happened, and I don't want to explain all of them, but they were not good things, so I wasn't able to make the video that I wanted to make. And goodness, this breakout, just, this does not exist. Okay. Now, today I'm going to be talking about fountain pens. And disclaimer, all of the information that I have is collected from people or the internet, which I will actually be using a website to talk about the fountain pens today. And I will link that video, that website in my video, because it's a very good website. It has like the bare minimum and little things that one might wish to know about, for instance, using a fountain pen, things that are important about using fountain pens, parts of a fountain pen, and inks and some such. Now let me see if I can find that website. Alright, I found it. It is a website called fountainpensonline.com. I will link it below the video anyways, but still. God, this breakout is pissing me off. Okay, let's stop focusing on the breakout and just, get along with the video. Alright, so when it comes to fountain pens, there are certain parts. This is the first fountain pen that I actually got for myself. I currently own 3. And as you can see, the body is something like this. It has quite a weight to it compared to, like, for instance, a normal pen or even a lit pen. It is heavier. And this is what the inside looks like. Now, this is what we call the nib, and on the inside, depending on the type of fountain pen you have, you may have a converter, which could be over here, or you may have a different type, which is like the squeezable type of compartment for your ink. And some people actually use sachets of ink, which you can buy. Those are usually more expensive. I don't find them to be very affordable or eco-friendly, because what are you going to do with the plastic afterwards? Food for thought, people. Don't use the sachets, please. We have the cap, we have the barrel, and then we have this section and the nib, and that's it. This part is called the grip, and in case you guys didn't know, this is a clip. That's what it says on the website. So, as far as fountain pens go, the general rule of thumb is that there are usually 2 types of fountain pens when it comes to the barrel and the lid. Now, this is my second fountain pen that I purchased. It is a Europen Vita. And there are 2 types generally. One is the type where the fountain pen is made to generally be used without the lid, written with at a 45 degrees angle. That goes for all fountain pens. But there are also other types of fountain pens which are designed to have the cap placed at the end of the barrel, which makes them, it gives them a sort of center in your hand. It is easier to write with once the cap is attached to the end of the barrel, such as this fountain pen. As you can see, it has actually a place where it gets like secured, So that indicates that you must be using this fountain pen with the cap. But like with this one, which was the first one which I showed, as you can see, there is no dent or anything at the bottom, which shows that you should like go and do this. And generally with this fountain pen, if I do this, it comes off very easily. So that is not how it's designed. Now, one more thing that I should probably say is generally the angle which I was talking about. With fountain pens, it is not a good idea to either hold them too low. For instance, if this is where you are writing, hold them too much like this or too much like this. Generally 45 degrees, that is the rule of thumb when it comes to writing with fountain pens, because that is the angle at which the ink flows out the smoothest. In my experience, I've never been able to find a fountain pen that with the right kind of ink does not work. Very rarely it does occur that you may purchase a fountain pen that does not work, but generally if you are buying a good fountain pen, you are entitled to be able to try it before buying it. So keep that in mind. Now, moving on, let's talk a little about nibs, which is my favorite part and the most confusing part for me as someone who had no prior knowledge about fountain pens when I purchased my first fountain pen. Now, let's see. Okay, this is the nib, just like I said. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus. It's not focusing. Great. I'm gonna give up now. As you can see, this is the nib. And when it comes to nibs, we have a set of thicknesses, different kinds of thicknesses for how the fountain pen writes the ink. So, for instance, all of the fountain pens that I have are currently AM, which is medium. Now, medium would be almost equivalent to 0.75 millimeters, and that is what I currently, write with. And there are also different variations, which are either finer or more broad, which I will say. There's extra fine, which is usually written as EF, and then there's F, which is fine. There is broad, which is B, and extra extra broad, which is EB. And I will say the millimeters for all of those. I'm going to read it off of the text because I obviously did not memorize this. So yeah, there we go. Extra fine would be 0.5 millimeters. Fine would be 0.6 millimeters. Broad 0.9 millimeters, which even in like lit pen or pen standards is pretty broad. And extra broad would be a 1.1 millimeters, which is humongous, very, very, very large. And yeah, that's that. I usually write with M. Generally, I've figured out that B, I've never seen. B or EB, I've not seen in any of the stores I've visited to buy fountain pens. But with F, I do believe it exists, F and EF, but very rarely can you find them, frankly. I do believe that if anyone in Tehran is wishing to purchase the like main Shahr Kitab, they might have it. And if you also go to the Aleph Shahr Kitab, you could ask them to bring it there for you and you could purchase it there. So there's nothing to worry about on that aspect. There's that. Now I'm going to move on to inks for fountain pens. Now, the inks are a little tricky, and I will explain that. First of all, let me talk about cartridges. Like, with cartridges, you buy them and you put them in. It is the simplest thing you could ever do. For instance, I do not own any cartridges because I'm just against them. I do not like them, quite frankly. But a cartridge generally looks very much similar to, oh goodness, to this pump of mine, which this is a squeeze pump, by the way. It is something like this, but when purchased, it has a plastic cap on the top with the ink inside. So once you want to install it, you will remove the pump that your fountain pen has come in and set it aside. Taking, for instance, if this was my cartridge, pretending here, you would take this, put it here, and push. Simple, easy, done, dusted. And you use it and it gets finished. So convenient to use, not eco-friendly, and kind of takes the joy of filling in your own ink away. So that's just, humble opinions here. Humble opinions. Now, this website gives you a quick tip about cartridges, which says most cartridges have a plastic seal that must be broken by gently pressing the cartridge towards the nib, like I just explained. And it says we have had some confusion about cartridges not fitting because I forgot to say this part though, because they have not been correctly installed by breaching the plastic, allowing the ink to flow. Now, there's also one thing, that tip was fantastic in and of itself, but there is one other thing you must consider, and that is the size of the cartridges that you are purchasing for your fountain pens. For instance, each fountain pen has a different type of cartridge that can fit inside of it. For instance, this might be different from this. You must know the measurements of the cartridge that you can put inside of your fountain pen. That in and of itself has a different way of being able to tell. One simple thing you could do, at least if you are in Iran, is to take your fountain pen with you. It's a little bit of a newbie move, but it'll get you your ink. You could take it with you and say, okay, like this is my fountain pen. Could you please give me ink cartridges that are for this fountain pen? There's that. And next we're going to talk about the good stuff, which are bottles and converters. Now, I'm going to read a little of this part because it's just very well written and I'm going to use it shamelessly. It says a converter is a refillable device that draws ink from a bottle. These generally come in either piston or squeeze converters. I showed you the squeeze converter. I also have the piston type, which I will show. This is the squeeze converter. You squeeze this part and it draws ink inside of itself. Pretty simple. It's a little tricky to use, a little messy to use, but gets the job done. Now, talking about the pistol converters. Did I say pistol? I think I said pistol on 2 occasions. Piston. Here it is. I will, in detail, show exactly how this is supposed to be used, but this is what it looks like. This part is supposed to be twisted. You draw ink inside of the container and then gracefully place it inside of your fountain pen and use it. Easy, simple, honestly. It only just leaves a ton of stains on your hands if you're not careful. Not a con at all. No. I'm trying my best here to make everyone not want to buy cartridges. I think I'm doing great. Yeah, so those are those. Now, I'm going to quickly get into ink. The place where I said also mentions inks, but I want to get into a little more detail about the inks and give some mildly biased recommendations. It's not mild at all. It's completely biased. Now, when it comes to fountain pens and fancy pens or anything that's remotely fancy, everyone has probably, most definitely, even if you are not into fountain pens, lid pens, or fancy pens, you have probably heard of this brand. I myself own one of their fountain pens, which is a very good fountain pen. I love you, Vita. You're a good girl. But this is it, and it's Europen ink. And whenever you go into a shop, you say, "Oh, I want some ink." They go like, "Oh, we have Europen ink." don't buy it. No. They are not good. You do not want to purchase them. They are generally cheaper than other types of inks. Parker ink, Pilot ink, Pelikan ink, but they're not worth it because they are almost half the price, but they cause so much mess and they completely seep through any form of paper. It does not matter how thick your paper is, they will seep, and you will be able to see everything you have written on the other side of the paper, on the side which you're not supposed to see the stuff you've written on the other side of the paper. So, no. The red is good, it does not seep, but it is so messy to work with. It will literally stain your entire life. Spill it and you are done. Especially if you have any way, shape, or form of white cloth or object lying around. My beautiful lid pen was eternally stained. Look at this. It's red. Wait. You can't see it, but it's red. I'm complaining. Wait, maybe if I step aside a little, it'll focus. Is it focusing? Please focus. It's not focusing. Okay, never mind. But yeah, it stained my lid pen, and I was very, very, very immensely salty about it. As anyone would be, because I love this lid pen. It is literally, I grew up with it. I gave my concours with it. Not that I did well on my concours, but still. Very, very precious item. It even stained my correction pen. Look at all those red little stains on it. Disgusting. That's what it is. Disgusting. Okay, so do not purchase Europen inks. Instead, this sounds like I'm promoting something, but I am not. I'm just trying to save you anyone who is watching from buying bad ink and having to go and buy more ink, because ink is not cheap. Like, it is, in the long run, buying a single fountain pen and purchasing ink for it, like, is way more worth it and worthwhile than purchasing pens in general. But the inks are expensive for single time purchases, so if you're buying it once, you are like, oh god, I'm paying so much. But it will last you a long while, so that is why it is worth it. Instead of Europen, I would like to recommend this little guy. It's Pelikan, by the way. The ink has faded a little because I carried this with me from up north, which I am in now, to Tehran, and the change in air pressure and climate did not do it justice. It spilled completely. It made a utter and complete mess. I should not have done that. I'm gonna leave my ink here next time. I'll have a spare ink in Tehran in case I go back. But this ink does not seep. It is beautifully colored, easy to wash, fantastic. I love this ink. I would promote it even if of course, this is not a promotion at all, obviously, but I would promote it no matter what, because it is a very, very, very good ink and very easy to manage. Now that I am done with my ink rant, let's move on to cleaning. Now, cleaning a fountain pen is simpler than washing clothes, which I imagine almost none of you have ever done. Not dissing. This is, no. When you want to clean a fountain pen, you will remove the lid, open this little bad boy up, take this part out, and completely submerge it in cold water. And leave it for a while until the ink basically gets... No, excuse me. My brain is just... until the water gets completely colored. Afterwards, you will switch the water until it no longer gets colored. That is when your fountain pen is completely clean. Easy as hell. it will not even take you more than like an hour or anything, and it's such a unaware task. Like you just sit down, you're for instance studying, reading, watching a movie, just set a 5-minute timer and switch out the water every 5 minutes and you'll be good. Generally your fountain pen must not get damaged if you wash it in water. That is the nature of it. If it does get damaged, then I am sorry, you do not have a good fountain pen. That was a little mean. But as far as fountain pens go, frankly, in my humble opinion, it does not really matter what brand of fountain pen you purchase. Reading reviews is very important. Knowing that a fountain pen does not have factory issues that cannot be fixed is very important. And otherwise, any fountain pen will work. This is my cheapest fountain pen. This is the general standard fountain pen, which was not expensive, not cheap. But this one was quite expensive. And frankly, as someone who purchased all three, they all write the same with good ink. So there is no need for extravagant purchases. It will last you a lifetime. It looks chic. You go into a bank. Okay, wait. Give me a second. I'm trying to prove a point here, okay? I'm proving a point here. This is important. All right. You go into a bank, okay? And you take out your bag. Let's pretend this isn't a pencil case. Okay, you take out your bag and you open your bag and you bring this out. It's a very good pen. Okay, I'm not dissing the pen itself. Just, we're talking about image. You take this out. It's a plastic ballpoint pen. You take this out. It's a fountain pen. It's a fountain pen. It's just, that describes it. You know, it just looks nice. It makes you feel like, oh, I'm a corporate CEO. Or, I don't know, I'm some sort of cool person that writes with the fountain pen. That's what I like about it. Why not? Why not feel like you're some sort of cool person, even if you're not? I mean, girl can dream. Or a guy, or anyone who wants to dream can dream, right? So there you go. I recommend fountain pens. Please use fountain pens. They are very good things. They are very good looking. They are smooth as hell. They are lovely. And yeah, that's probably all I wanted to say in this video. I spoke for 20 minutes straight. 21 minutes, actually. My mouth is dry. My throat is hurting. I screamed too much. But alas, there is the video. I finally filmed it. And yeah, if there are any comments, words of recommendation, anything, please feel free to tell me in the comments if anyone is actually watching this video. But yeah, cool. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in another video about another thing in another time. Bye!